Well, ever since the Christmas Day bomber plot was hatched in Yemen, Americans have been aware of the country as a focal point for U.S. anti-terror efforts. But America was keenly interested in Yemen well before that. The first U.S. drone strike to hit the country was back in 2003. These operations have been highly classified, and the American public is only beginning to recently understand the effects of these drones and what these strikes might actually do to the public. Here's what we do know about drone strikes in Yemen, courtesy of the Bureau of Investigative Journalism, which has some of the most comprehensive data on strikes in this region. Between 44 and 54 people are confirmed strikes actually happened in Yemen. Between 232 and 333 people have been killed. Dozens of them were civilians and 2 of them were children. But as you can tell, even the most comprehensive data still leaves a lot of questions to be answered. The Obama administration promised that these drone strikes were only meant to go after high-level al-Qaeda members. However, as the data we just showed you proves, civilians are often caught in the crossfire. As more of these instances are brought to light, even mainstream outlets like Bloomberg are beginning to question the strategy these strikes might actually have, because they have potential to radicalize the very population that the U.S. is attempting to help. So are drone strikes actually helping al-Qaeda out? For a look at the bigger picture, Jael Ahram is a veteran and writer, and he joins me now. Hi there, Jael. As American citizens, when we first learned about these drones, we were told, as I had mentioned, that they were only to target high-level al-Qaeda members. Is this still the case?
No, of course not. I mean, that's the lie that's being put forward, that these strikes are signature in nature and that they only purportedly kill the very people that they're targeted. But missiles don't know who the terrorists are. Shrapnels are flying when there's an explosion. Don't care if the people around them are innocent women and children. One of the first, even during the Bush administration, one of the worst strikes that was conducted under him killed 62 children. And now for Obama to put on this, and the Obama administration to put on this, basically propagate the pretense that missiles from a drone can tell the difference between a terrorist or not terrorist is just a lie.
Now, Yemeni activist Faria al-Muslimi actually recently testified on the Hill about the after effects of the U.S. drone strike in Yemen. So this is what he said.
Now, however, when they think of America, they think of the terror they feel from the drones that hover over their heads, ready to fire missiles at any time. What a violent militants had previously failed to achieve, one drone strike accomplished in an instant. There is now an intense anger against America in WhatsApp. This is not an isolated instance. The drone strikes are the face of America to many Yemenis.
So is it possible that these drone strikes are actually helping out the insurgents?
Yes, of course. I mean, what he said is what Muslimi said is true, that the drones are now the face of America. There was a protest in the Middle East somewhere. I don't know whether it was Yemen, but they weren't burning effigies of Obama. They weren't burning effigies of Bush. They were burning effigies of a Predator drone. So, for many of these people who have never heard of 9/11, who have never heard of the World Trade Center, the global war on terror, these are the reasons why the global war on terror is being conducted in their countries. What they associate with America is not Hollywood, it's not Obama, but a killer robot.
Now, in your opinion, how is secrecy surrounding the program actually affecting the ways that Americans view that program? And how about the people in the Middle East, and particularly in Yemen?
The way it affects Americans, because of this secrecy, is that there is no empathy for the people, for the victims of these drone strikes. It's very hard to identify and empathize with people who have to live, their lives, when their family can be targeted by a killer robot. I mean, that's nuts. You know, we as Americans cannot basically begin to comprehend what that's like to live under a constant buzzing of just flying around over your head.
And finally, I just read an interesting article that came out of The Guardian. It was written by Dan Roberts, and it argued that President Obama is using drone strikes as an excuse to not put people in Guantanamo Bay. We do know that he is very critical of Guantanamo Bay. What's your response to this, very quickly?
Oh my God, it's nuts. First of all, you know, at least it's nuts to think that the Gitmo has become a standard of justice compared to the drone strike, because the rule of law is being abrogated and completely destroyed. You know, you have 4 Americans now killed under this president, and it needs to stop.
All right, that was Jael Aram. He's a writer at the Young Americans for Liberty.